got the vortex deforming.
No. This is.
Is that vortex particle? The same particle.
You've probably seen it. So this is 7 million.
7.
So this is 7 million, right? And you're doing something magnitudes bigger than this.
7 million.
Right? This is like a little dinky, like stream thing, right? You're doing like this huge river, and to do like this little dinky stream takes 7 million particles, right? So
7 months maybe?
I think it's more than year. If I do, I think.
65 million particles.
It's gonna kill the render farm.
I will burn all the computers.
Even the farm.
Yes, not even the farm.
Oh,
Whoa,
I like
this
this.
is good.
oh my god.
So this is 2 million. So you need up in the literally the millions of particles to get anything that looks
So I
good.
don't do that. Don't do that.
That's why it's just really hard for it's hard for hobbyists and students to get really good looking water, because you just need it's literally the more particles you have, the better it's gonna look. Like that's just a fact of life. That's actually pretty cool. It's like pudding.
Me too.
That takes forever.
That's if it being 12. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I warned you guys. Like, Flip is literally based on one, like how well you know particles and volumes, and two, how many particles you can chuck at your computer before it just kind of curls up and says, "I don't want it anymore."
Yeah, burn it.
Doing flip fluids, lie on the ground, try not to cry.
Not
Cry a lot. Okay, all right, take a 10-minute break, come back at 2:50, and I'll try to speed through the rest of this volume tutorial, and then we'll have work time with what's left.
咁樣叫做咩啊？做呢個？我俾你玩唔好。
跟住係
我覺得當年咧有自己嘅經驗，都幾搭上嚟。
我真係燒咗下，我真係好
唔得㗎。
唔得嘅咩？
no you can't
我成日拎咗成個跟住係咁去撈，跟住撈再撈唔到條線，跟住幾多次？
咁一個簡單估算啦，好簡單。application。
Oh, right. What does the force called to make the clock?
What?
The force. What does the clock?
magnet force.
You can use magnet force. You can either use a magnet force, or you can give, you can put velocity. You can preload your vertices with velocity. So So basically you can do a point wrangle and say at v equals, and then you give it a vector, just like a up vector, so like 0, 20, 0. And the rigid body solver should respect that. Like when you instantiate it, it's going to say, oh, I have velocity, and just shoot off.
呢個都40幾萬。
So for you guys who were asking about interior detail, so there's two ways to do it. You can roll your own, which is what I like to do, or if you want to be quick on the VDB, or no, sorry, on the Voronoi fracture, there's this interior detail. You can say add interior detail, and so you can say what's your detail size. Right, so that's my detail size, and then I can say, I can give it noise, so I can say my noise amplitude. So now I have like these kind of crispy pieces on the inside. And then as well, like this is just noise, right? So you can give it more turbulence or less turbulence. Right, if I give it 0 turbulence, it's very smooth. If I give it more turbulence, it's very crunchy. If I drop the frequency, these features are going to be smaller. If I up the frequency to something like, start doing this, the features just get bigger, 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 bigger. Or if I make it smaller, right? But it's going to get to a point where my features are so small that my features become so small that my geometry can't describe that. So then I have to do my detail size. So when if you do this, so what you would want to do is you would want to make, so basically what I would do is I would make 2 fractures that are pretty much exactly the same, except for one has this turned on and the other one has it turned off. And you simulate your low-res pieces, and then you transfer that data onto your high-res pieces. And there's tons of tutorials. It's pretty standard. Tons of tutorials out there to do that. You can Belinda.com shows you how to do it. Linda does it. There's I have one from this website called Lester Banks that shows you how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. There's a couple different ways to do it, but it's very straightforward.
Cool.
But yeah, so you can, that's how you can add extra data into this, right? The other way that you can do it is that in your, there's groups, so you have this inside and outside group. So what you can do is basically what Cherry did, right? So you can, and then the other thing that you can do, yeah, so if I do interior detail, so I'll allow my interior, this guide, like the add interior detail, we can also view our noise scale, which will give us, right, we have a lot of noise in here, not a lot of noise out here. You can also change the noise type, you can change where it happens with this guy, so if I push this inwards, so if I push this in, right, so if I take this, I'm basically pushing, there's less and less noise the deeper I get, or the deeper I get, right? So if I put this here, there's no noise here, lots and lots of noise here, because this is like kind of like the center, right? Now if I wanted to push my noise out, I pull this out here. So now I'm getting more and more noise from my center to my surface, right? So that's how you would get interior detail. And then also, like if we do this, right, it never affects the outside. It's only the inside pieces. Right, so this piece is almost like 100% inside, so it's going to get most of the noise. So if I wanted to do that, right, so some of these pieces are like this one here, because it's like 100% inside, so it's going to get all noise. Right? So that's pretty cool. You could build this your own by using like bop stops and stuff if you want to get really detailed and like kind of like layer noises. But I think for what you guys are doing, this kind of builds in stuff. And underneath, that's really all it's doing. If we look, there's probably a bop stop in here somewhere that's controlling the noise.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's definitely a bop stop somewhere in here that's just generating it. So you can do it yourself. You can pick this apart if you want to, but for what you guys are doing, I think this is definitely good enough. Cool?
Cool.
Do I need to save this?
So this is from.
This is for rigids, right? Like if you want rigids that have like extra interior detail.
Like she did.
The other thing you can do, I mean, you could use, like if you wanted to, I mean, the possibilities are endless with this, right? Like, because basically this is just, anytime you can see color like this, you're literally getting a color value, right? So if I come to here, like I have a, CD primitive and CD point. Now I don't know which one of these is coming from where, right? So I have a color on my points and a color on my primitives. So you'd have to figure out where this is going to. But you could use this, right? You could use this red value after the fact in a bop stop to just add more noise, right? So it's like only add the noise where this red is above like a certain level, right? Once again, everything is data. Just because it's color doesn't mean you can only use it for color, right? Everything is ones and zeros, basically. It's just how you interpret those ones and zeros and show them to the user.
But I've tried using this method, like the it inside in an interior detail thing, but it's not working on my jar because I think it's like just the walls too thin.
Yeah, the walls might be too thin.
Yeah, the
so that's
just
when
like
you
went through the other side.
Yeah, that's when you build your own. So that's almost a perfect example of why I like to build stuff myself. If I'm in a rush, I'll use the shelf tools, but then I'm always going to edit what comes out of it. It's rarely ever you're gonna be like, press the shelf tool, done, right? Like you're always gonna have to edit after the fact. So you need to know what those things are building, or else you're just kind of like a slave to whatever they're building for you, and then you're just a button pusher at that point. You're not a designer or a technician or an artist. is like just pressing buttons. Any chimp can press a button. Chimps, they do it all the time. Banana. Banana. You need to know how, like, imagine if you press the button, if you were a chimp, and you press the button, and you get a banana, and then you don't know how to peel it. Same thing, right? It's useless to you. You have a banana, but you can't eat it, or you eat it and you eat the peel, and it's gross. Why am I going down this weird route? Anyway. All right. Let me set my front.
我前面嗰個。
有好耐整翻入邊嗰啲嘢。
Okay, so this is my pig gas. Is this what so do my own split thing. Leave that as targeted last. One. Like this little trick, like increase my productivity so fast, so much. Like you don't really realize how
Setup?
much. Yeah, because this panel is locked to this panel is locked to this panel, and whatever shows up in here is the last thing I have selected.
Okay.
Right. So if I select this. Yeah. Oh, in the same context. So if I do this guy, I'm going to show me my pig, but then I can select this and get this correct, right? Okay, so what I want to do is, let's look at my fluid source. And the first thing I'm going to do with this is I figured out why, because your professor's a I figured out why that noise function wasn't working. So let me delete this channel. And I think I figured it out. It's noise takes 3 floats, and I was only giving it 1. So I'm going to say $T 0 0. There we go. So let's look at this. Yeah, that's what I want. So it's like that, right? So my velocity is a little bit cooler now. Actually, I don't want it to go all the way down, so we'll do plus. Right, and I want it to be a little bit more violent as well, so I'm going to do T times twice as fast.
Are the spaces important, like between the zeros?
No, those are just commas.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, now, okay, sweet. So now I got my trail sop, so now I'm going to get some decent looking velocity trails here. So we can see my velocity is going crazy. And then just for shoots and goggles, it's a kind way of saying shits and giggles, I'm going to put a point wrangle on here. And I'm going to say at F at B equals, so if I just say F at B equals 0, I just kill my velocity, right? See that? Oh, I need to do So this is confusing. V at V, so that means vector data at V, right? So it's saying V, the at V is this down here. This V is saying I'm giving you, this is a vector data type. Does that make sense? Right, so it's vector at attribute V. So if I set that to 0, it just sets all these to 0. But I don't want to do that. I want to multiply by. So if I do 2, right now I've doubled the velocity coming out of this, which is pretty dope. So yeah. And that may or may not come through. I may have to use VDBs for that. And I'm still new to VDBs because VDBs are only like 8 years old. So, they're pretty awesome though. Okay, so, I'll do this now. Should be getting fluid source. Yeah, so there's my velocity, right? Getting density. A bit of density. Oh, because density is on scale. Right, so I'm seeing density. So let's go over here. Actually, I want to stay out here. I'm going to go into my document. Any day now, Chacha. Oh, that's fine. So when you're moving